Yeah, I mean, I think the big standout for me in terms of remembering those days in the marketplace was just the unparalleled FX and rates volatility that we dealt with, right? I mean, we had a number of pegged currency regimes in Asia and globally, and the markets were obsessed with testing the resolve of policymakers to defend those currency pegs. And we know it from that time that they didn't have the FX reserves. They didn't have the war chests available to them to defend their currency. So at some point, they had to float. And the depreciation of their currencies initially was quite traumatic for their domestic economies. Fast forward to today, and we have an environment where FX reserves have been rebuilt significantly. The type of investor capital that is committed to not only Indonesia, but the rest of the region is really much different. It's less hot money today than it used to be. And even compare today versus the taper tantrum in 2013, where we saw significant capital flight from the fragile five based on current account deficits, et cetera. Today we have, an environment where India and Indonesia are...
Granted, Eric, but it's not all hunky-dory,
no,
is it? And
no,
I don't want to say for a minute that we're going to see Asian financial crisis 2.0, but consumer-related debt, credit-related expansion, debt broadly, how concerned are you about that?
So if I think about both North Asia and South Asia, yes, leverage levels are higher, but the cost of servicing that debt is much lower, right? So, and again, I don't want to put on rose-colored glasses either, but I think if we examine some of the traditional vulnerability metrics for a number of these different economies, it does look better, right? The big concern is just as much domestic as it is exogenous, right? And this is where we get into this issue of central banks globally today talking a little bit more hawkish. If you get a big increase in global interest rates, if the dollar has a recovery in the second half of the year, which is not our outlook, but if that were to happen, then all of a sudden some of these strains that we've been able to put to the side for a little while would come back to the forefront.